So we're here at the Academy Sports and Outdoors Rigs and Techniques and at the CCA workbench.
That's hard to
Dave,
say.
we talk about it every week.
Yes, we do.
But we have a special guest,
Yeah.
Sarah Malia. Sarah, you know, you are a professional angler and you're going to be filling in for Dave and as well as Bree when
There's
Bree's
some
out having
big
the baby.
shoes to fill.
No,
Yeah, man.
they're not that big.
But listen, let's talk a little bit about you own a 42-foot center console.
Correct.
And you mate as well as you participate as an angler on that boat when you guys are out sail fishing. So more importantly, from time to time, you guys run into cobias. So how do you guys approach that?
Well, down here in South Florida, we tend to find the cobia in the sand, on rays, or near wrecks. So I like to be prepared and have a spinner ready with a knocker rig.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we see them, I have a live bait and be able to just cast to them. But the good thing with cobia, they're not too picky. You could throw a pinfish at them, or in my experience, whenever we are fishing tournaments, like sailfish tournaments, and have the kites out, and if we are near a wreck, usually we'll end up catching them on sardines, threads, pilchards. So they're not too picky. That's the good thing about them. So they'll basically eat anything that you throw their way.
So sometimes when you're tournament fishing, obviously that could be problematic, but what do
Yeah,
you think?
so the rest of the team, the guys, usually get kind of frustrated because they're like, oh, great, a cobia. But secretly, I'm like, yes,
They
because
take a lot longer to catch. They,
Yes.
they're harder. They fight harder than a sailfish,
Exactly.
especially if they're big.
Yeah.
And then you're eating up all your sailfish time.
But as soon as I catch wind that it's a cobia, I'm like, yes, like,
very happy
because
about
I love catching cobia.
We're gonna eat them.
Exactly.
Well, it's the same, you know, where we live. We up at Cape Canaveral, where I fish for them. The water's a lot darker and greener, so you know we look for them, but we're usually looking for the stuff that they hang around with. Cobia are kind of like a remora, you know, they like to hang around big things that are swimming in the water. Whale sharks, a big bull shark, you know, cobia will follow them. The rays, the manta rays especially, even school of cownose rays, they will be with
they're
them.
social.
Or even
They
turtles
like to hang
sometimes.
out with something big. And so, you know, we look for the big things, you know, turtles, especially up where I live, and the manta rays, or just a weed line. Up where I live, you know, the weed lines will come in and we'll just run up and down the sides of the weed line until we see them. And we can usually see them in the water because they look like a shark. You know, they're dark colored.
Exactly, always.
They're always people mistaking them for sharks if they don't know what they're looking at. So, you know, you throw a jig at them. What are you doing trying to catch that shark? Well, no, that's a cobia. We want to catch him. So, you know, what we do is we throw a jig, usually a really colorful jig. Like I said before in the tease thing, you know, we use all these chartreuses and oranges and pinks and all these bright jigs. I haven't really researched it. I don't even know if a cobia can see all these different colors. Well, the good thing about these different colors is that we can see them. And when we make these long casts, we can see our jig and we can see the cobia move towards the jig. And it helps us if we can see the jig too.
Right.
So I imagine that, you know, somewhere along the line, somebody caught one on a chartreuse and started throwing it all the time, and that's what we do. But you know, a good live bait works excellent. You know, they cannot turn down, like she said, a pinfish or a big pilchard or a lizard fish like you guys were talking about. Even a catfish. You can catch a saltwater catfish and trim the barbs off of it, and they swim like a snake, and they will
Or
gobble
sometimes
them down.
even eels.
Eels especially. You know, the eel up in Destin area, that's what those guys are looking for, a nice big eel that they can throw out there on a circle hook.
So you
like
just
that.
use a jig as your weight.
Yeah, and you can use them. You can either have a big bucktail jig or a plain jig like that. You know, you can put any kind of bait on there.
Like this was what he looked like. You put a big jumbo shrimp.
Right,
You know,
and
obviously.
I tell you, most guys will use a big plastic tail. A lot of these jigs will have a big plastic tail on them when you buy them, and they love to eat them. So, you know, it's good to throw them. You can catch them all the time.
So Dave, what else do we need to know about cobia fishing?
Well, you know, you got to be careful that you don't get too close to the shore up in the Destin area. You know, Patty was talking about how, you know, they got two bars up there, and sometimes they're in the inner bar and sometimes they're a little further out. But every year somebody gets in trouble up there. They're looking, you know, ahead and not paying attention, and if it's a little bit rough, you can get in deep trouble and get washed up on the dang beach up there in that place. Usually up here where we fish, we're fishing a lot further offshore, so we don't have to worry about that. We're just trying to find them. And that's the hardest part about cobia fishing, is finding them. You know, Patty said, you know, they're having a bad 3 or 4 years, and I think that we might have been hammering them pretty hard here lately, and they might need a little help.
And the other thing with cobia, they're notorious for going absolutely bananas once you gaff
Forgot
them.
about yeah.
So
Make sure you have a place to put them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we like to have a game plan, have everybody on the same team, like on the same page. As soon as you gaff them, that everyone should know what box, what hatch it's going to go into, because they'll get on the boat, they'll go crazy, break things, hurt people.
Yeah.
And
especially the big ones.
exactly.
Hey, good job over here,
Yeah,
guys.
no worries.
Sarah, we're going to wish you luck. Next week, you're going to be in Key West fishing in the final sale. We'll be rooting for you here at the
Thank
Florida
you.
Insider Fisher Report. Bree, what do you think?
Yes, we will. You guys did a great job. Thank you, Sarah, for being here and filling in for both Dave and I.